What is that ground pounding I hear up in the starting line area?
That would be Top Alcohol Funny Car, and I think that is the first time I've ever heard a driver thank his dog.
Well, this is the U.S. Nationals. You can tell how happy he is when he remembers the family dog.
Tony Bartone is going to go up against Todd Payton. And as you heard earlier from Bob Fry, Todd Payton, outside of some of the world of Top Alcohol Funny Cars, you look at Todd's dad, is maybe not one of the more recognizable names on the entry list. But Tony Bartone certainly is, and if Todd Payton can upset Tony here in the finals, well, his name is going to go sky high to the top of that list in a hurry.
It really is, Ralph. And Todd Payton is one of those young drivers that's really coming on strong in Alcohol Funny Car. Tony Bartone is just a tick away from winning the Winston Championship this year. Let's see what happens in this round.
Payton is out after Bartone. Bartone's quicker out of the lights, but guess what? Payton is the U.S. Nationals champion. Take note of that name. You're going to hear it a bunch. It looks like he's got a little trouble slowing the car down.
Looks like maybe he has a throttle hung there.
He goes all the way to the last turnout. Bob Fry, Todd Payton, note the name.
Hey, how about that? Here's a team that was sponsored early in the year, doing that out of their own pocket right now. Dad, you got to be very proud of Todd. Great job.
How about that, eh? How about that, eh?
For all those Canadians out there, big win. Did you figure you could outrun Bartone?
Yeah, we thought we could run with him, and we were hoping that our driver would do the job, and maybe that's what happened.
You guys really got to be pumped up. I mean, we had a dynamite field. Austin, Anderson, Bartone, Newberry, Manzo. Now you guys.
Well, Todd's first name is David, so we think that he went in there and slew them like Goliath did.
How about that? Very happy. And for all of our Canadians, there's the winner, Todd Payton.
O Canada will be echoing throughout the paddock here. You can be sure of that. Looks like Supercom getting set to go next.
Here we have Jeff Krug against Bo Nickens.
All right, actually, this is comp. All right, Great Guru sides this one up for us as we look at the comp final.
Well, this is going to be a handicap matchup. Jeff Krug is the former Winston champ. That's a Gary Hansen-built roadster. Steve knows about them. It's a magnificent automobile. Nickens is the name synonymous with great racing in the Sportsman category. Bo won at Brainerd at the Champion Auto Stores Nationals a couple of weeks ago. That little V6 machine is great. Nickens' power is tough. He can drive, but Krug's the former Winston champ, so this is not going to be an easy win if indeed Bo Nickens gets it.
So Nickens and Krug now set to settle out who will be the comp champ at the U.S. Nationals.
And again, Ralph, this will be a handicap start.
And a red light. So Krug will be the U.S. Nationals champion as Bo Nickens takes himself out of it. Krug just cruises to the crown.
Now we're going to go to Super Comp, Ralph. They're coming up next in the staging lanes. And we're going to see somebody we've already seen today win a title here at the U.S. Nationals, which is Scotty Richardson in the Super Comp final.
That's right. Scotty Richardson has made his way back up quickly up the return road. And he has strapped himself into another car, and he is set to go now in Super Comp. How does Scotty Richardson stack up as a Super Comp driver as opposed to the other classes, Bob?
Ralph, Scotty Richardson, pound for pound, is the best driver, I think, in sportsman racing. He's won 4 Winston championships. He might add 2 this year. But don't forget Bill and Angie Yates here in the near lane. They're not about to throw away a chance at fame and fortune just because that slick 50 cars in the other lane.
And of course, Scotty Richardson is from the Richardson brother family. His brother Edmund is also a racer here at the U.S. Nationals this weekend and serves as Scotty's crew chief. He's not driving himself.
Heads up start, and we're underway. Advantage looks like it's gone to Yates, but look at Richardson driving on, and Yates will hold on for the win. Yates will get the win, and Angie is celebrating. They are the U.S. Nationals champions.
And Ralph, look at that great reaction time by Bill Yates. Only 1/1000th of a second from being perfect, a .401 light.
You can see how much of a guru Bob Fry is. Sportsman winners, I go right over to him, get him a hug. Reaction when you win the U.S. Nationals? You bet. You jump up from down, you win the U.S. Nationals. Next thing you do is you try to find Bob Fry. Where are you, Bob? We're back to the U.S. Nationals here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Sportsman finals are over, and we're moving on to the Pro Divisions, which means we'll start things off with Pro Stock Bike. And there is young Matt Hines. What a weekend he has had. He wins the last 2 national events. He comes here to IRP, and now he's going to square off against that man, John Myers, in the finals here at the U.S. Nationals after already picking up the win in the Wax Shop Dash. And remember, there is a $10,000 bonus up for Matt Hines. If he can win this, it will be a double-up bonus for sweeping both the Dash and this. You can see the memory of Elmer Tread on that bike already, Bob.
John Myers' bike has lost fire over there. Now the Pro Stock bikes get 1 restart. His throttle hung wide open on the burnout. If he fires it up and loses again, it'll be a gimme here for Matt Hines, much like the last time when they met up in Brainerd just a couple of weeks ago.
Now, of course, this situation is not going to affect an experienced rider like John Myers. He's going to go up there, get his concentration back, and do what he has to do to have a good light and try to compete with Matt Hines on the street. Both of them are good levers. Both bikes are evenly matched. This is going to be a fabulous race, Ralph.
John is a former U.S. Nationals champion back in 1989. Red light to Hines. The win will go to John Myers.
And John Myers runs a 750, which is a little bit off of his pace, but still very consistent when you look at those 748s and 749s.
At 174 miles an hour, and Byron had tuned the bike just what Matt Hines needed, a 749. He did go 170 miles an hour as well. You see the reactions off the lights, and Matt was just maybe rookie adrenaline. Maybe
a little bit of jitters here at the U.S. National. Look at the reaction of the Star Racing team. Are they happy or what, Ralph?
So John Myers will be a 2-time U.S. Nationals champion, and he did not get the Wax Shop Dash money like he's done over the last few years, but he is a U.S. Nationals champ again, Steve.
All of the bad luck you've had against Matt Hines is suddenly non-existent to win Indy the way you have.
It was our turn, Steve. You know, they've had a lot of good luck, and they've also run good, and they've earned that. And I just got to say something for the Star Racing gang back in Americus, Georgia. The bikes ran great this weekend. Thank you.
Okay, Georgia, Jackie Bryce will be thrilled about this as the money and the trophy goes to Georgia. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be back for the Pro Finals.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the U.S. Nationals. We hope you're having a great Labor Day weekend like all of us are. Kurt Johnson getting set to heat up the tires on his Delco-backed Pontiac. And Ricky Smith about to do the same on his Carrier entry. Pro Stock Car, final event here at the U.S. Nationals getting set. There's a good look. I think that is one of the nicest paint schemes in the pit area here at the U.S. Nationals. That black and gold really look good. Watch those big tires. Spin them up.
Of course, Ralph, this is the factory hot rod division, and Pontiac is represented very well today in this final round of the U.S. Nationals. Both of these drivers running Pontiacs. Both drivers have been consistent today. Both drivers ran 709 in the round before this. Ricky Smith with a slight advantage at 709.5 to get the lane choice here. The lanes have looked pretty even, so I don't know that we're going to see a problem with these lanes. Kurt Johnson has a lot of that WJ horsepower, though. Ricky Smith is going to have to be sharp on the tree and back up that 709 if he has a shot at getting back KJ.
Not too much of a change in the weather over the course of the day.
The weather has stayed pretty consistent here. There is a slight drop in humidity. The temperature is still up. Hasn't cooled off as much as it sometimes does here. That's not going to affect these cars as much as it may if the race was run a little later in the evening here.
If you win just one race in a season, as you see, Ricky Smith has had none so far in 96. Boy, the one to win is this one. Of course, Kurt getting a win in Atlanta earlier this year.
Both of these drivers are hungry. Both of them are professional racers. They want to win the U.S. Nationals. Of course, Kurt Johnson has seen his father win this race. This time he wants to see Dad standing down there on the racetrack while he's up there holding the trophy.
Will the Johnson stranglehold on the U.S. Nationals continue? We're we're about 6 to 7 seconds away from knowing. Ricky Smith and Kurt Johnson. Advantage off the line goes to Ricky Smith. How about the Johnson horsepower? Is it enough?
Yes, it was enough. He caught him right at the finish line. That was an excellent race, Ralph. Ricky did everything he had to do. He knew there was some serious horsepower there. He had to give him a shot, but KJ had that WJ horsepower, and that's what won this race.
The 707 gets the win for Kurt Johnson as he pulls down to the far end of the racetrack. There you see the Johnson clan celebrating. WJ will be an ecstatic man because that just continues to keep points away from Jim Yates, which is what he needs. As Kurt Johnson has put himself into the history books at the U.S. Nationals. He has joined his father as a winner of the biggest race of them all.
And Kurt, you have saved the best for last, a stunning 707.
We needed every bit of that. You know, he had a fender on me out there, and I don't know what he ran, but man, that was a drag race. Delco Batteries, Pontiac, Mark Christopher, Penzo, all the people that helped me. I got to dedicate this race to Blaine Johnson, though, and my wife, who's 7 months pregnant. This is the greatest.
I'll tell you, the prize money will help furnish that nursery, won't it?
I bet the old man's smiling. You know, he was over changing valve springs before that fun. I think we even got him working now.
I keep him on the payroll. Okay, guys.
Man.
Let's show you the Winston points for the Pro Stock division now. WJ's going to have his work cut out for him, but there's still a handful of events left to go. Jim Yates stumbles anywhere along the path to the championship, and be sure that WJ will be right there to try to take the crown away from him. We'll be back.
Take 5,000 horsepower.
Down a quarter mile in less than 5 seconds.
And what do you get?
The NHRA on TNN Motorsport.
Get ready. It's a tire-turning, nitro-burning, nose-slowing, piston-blowing, need for speed, take the lead, NHRA on TNN time. Live from Maple Grove Raceway Park, it's the Pioneer Electronics Keystone Nationals, September 15th, 5 Eastern.
It doesn't get any closer.
We're back to Indianapolis Raceway Park and the U.S. Nationals. They have fired the motors on the top fuel cars. Top fuel cars will go first to try to give Al Hoffman just a little bit more time to get his team prepared and ready to go. Everything looked good down there at the starting area, Bob?
Yeah, this is going to be neat. I mean, I don't know what kind of chance you give the kid Schumacher, but remember we had a first-time finalist last year. Bob Vandergrift had never raced here before. So last year was kind of a Cinderella deal also. Larry Dixon's first Indianapolis championship. He gets the win. Vandergrift almost had it as the chute come out. Here, Corey Mack, I mean, apparently on paper would have this thing covered. He might have too much race car right here, but as Casey will tell you, they don't run these things on paper.
That's true, Bob. They don't run these things on paper. And why everybody will give Corey Mack the performance advantage here, you can't underestimate that Cinderella story. I'm going to go way out on a limb because I've been there before myself and pick Tony Schumacher to win this race. Steve, are you going to leave me out there by myself, or are you going to go with me?
You're all on your own, buddy. You heard Lee Beard use that golf analogy. I hope Corey Mack is thinking that well as far as pushing the lights. He doesn't need to push that light. A good conservative lead will do it. Leave the driver in the bag. A good 3-wood. Lay it up, Corey Mack, and it's all yours.
Hard to argue with that. The best Schumacher has run all day is a 517. He has trailered Dixon and Dunn, so he has put down some big giants. Corey Mack, let's see what the brain trust in McDonald's camp can do.
A lot of experience in that McDonald's camp.
Tony Schumacher and Corey Mack, the finals at Top Fuel. And Corey Mack wins the U.S. Nationals. He is the champ with a 473 at 306 miles an hour. Problems for Schumacher, and Corey Mack wins it here at Indianapolis.
Ralph, let's look at this replay. Corey Mack and that McDonald's crew certainly didn't lay off the horsepower much on this run. They ran exactly consistently what they've been running all day long and all weekend. A lot of horsepower coming out of that Lee Beard car. Car looks clean and dry all the way to the win. great win for a great guy. Corey Mack is your U.S. Nationals champion. Look at the celebration on the starting line.
And I guarantee you it's going to be an emotional moment at the far end.
Corey Mack came out of this car like there was a spring in the seat. They are based in Indianapolis, and Corey Mack, did you ever want anything more in your life?
Not in my life. Never have. I got to thank McDonald's, Interstate Batteries, Easy Care, Shell Oil, Champion Spark Plugs. I mean, everybody. Goodyear, the guys did a great job, you know. And I'll tell you what, when I get there and get that trophy, it's going to Alan Johnson. Blaine, we love you, buddy.
Can't add a word to that, Bob.
Lee Beard, this has been a very emotional race for everybody.
Oh, it truly has. This whole weekend, it's had its real downers, and now it's a real upper for us. You know, I'm really proud of that McDonald's crew today. They kept that car very consistent. We raced what was a bit of a tricky racetrack. Some of the big teams smoked the tires, so we didn't really race any of the real strong guys, the Bernsteins and Amados, and of course with Blaine Johnson being here, it takes a lot away from the win. But we live here in Indianapolis, and I've won here before with Ed McCullough and with Cruz Pedregon, and this is the race to win. If you can't win the World Championship, winning the U.S. Nationals can make your season.
Lee Beard lives here in Indy. He's won here enough at this track. He just might own this place.
A footnote on the story for Corey Mack here today as you look at the Winston Tom Field point standings on Blaine Johnson's tragic pass here earlier in the weekend. Corey Mack was in the other lane. That is a look at the Winston Tom Field point standings at this point. And TNN has got a tremendous lineup of live drag racing for you as we continue to march on towards the Winston Championships and the culmination of a great season of NHRA Winston drag racing at Clermont in 1996. We'll march on to Maple Grove for the Pioneer Keystone Nationals, and then on to Topeka, Kansas, the Sears Craftsman Nationals. The Budweiser Classic for the top fuel cars will come your way from Pomona, and then the Winston Select Finals will wrap things up. And you can be sure that at those events, we're probably going to see some records fall as the air in the fall time gets better and better and better. Corey Mack, what a weekend, what a ride, truly a champion here at the U.S. Nationals.
Never, not in this car, ever.
The funny car drivers have made their way to the lights. They're ready to go. Al Hoffman strapped in. He's got 6,000 horsepower ready to go, and he's going to go after John Force after this. You see the cars of Al Hoffman in the near lane, and in the far lane there you see the Castrol machine of John Force. They're getting set to go racing for our final here tonight at the U.S. Nationals, but there was some problems and some parts left out on the racetrack from Tony Schumacher's car, so we're in a bit of a cleanup with the NHRA Safety Safari right now. Does this give Al Hoffman half a second to catch his breath now and get back in racing mode since they went through that thrash?
It really does, Ralph. This happened to me in 1994 here in the finals against Cruz Pedregon. We had a little bit of a thrash in the pit area. We come to the starting line. There was a little bit of a delay. It gave me time to calm down a little bit. I was a little too excited before I got in that race car because of what had happened in the pit area and rushing to get to the starting line. So now Al has the opportunity to sit in the car, relax a little bit, gather his thoughts, and be prepared to go out there in the final round of the U.S. Nationals, where before he might have been a little too excited and made some mistakes that would have been costly.
When you're sitting in the car and you're just strapped in as they get set to light the cars now, do you have a chance to think of anything in particular or just everything that's going on around you?
Well, now at this point, as soon as that motor fires, you're thinking this is just another drag race. Calm down, do everything like we've done it for the rest of our drag racing career, and go out there and win this race. Let's forget that this is the U.S. Nationals.
So Al Hoffman now gets set to warm up the big tires on that Western Auto Parts America Haviland Pontiac. And a classic burnout as well from the Castrol car of John Force, who has already had a handful of titles bestowed upon him today or this weekend, being named the Big Butt Shootout winner and the Winston champion for Funny Car this year on the NHRA Tour. So, heck, let's give him something else. We've decided we're going to name him the Mopar High Performer of the weekend. His great job of his and the crews of coming out here and claiming all those titles here this weekend. If they can get one more by beating Al Hoffman, they truly will be a Mopar High Performer. So John Force, our Mopar High Performer here at the U.S. Nationals. Remember, there is an extra $15,000 on the line. Al Hoffman just one win this year, and that came at the very beginning of the season at Pomona. And if Jimbo Ermolovich wants to silence the critics, beating that guy is the best way to do it.
It surely is. And, you know, they've worked really hard on this car between rounds. They've thrashed on this car. It would be interesting to see if they were still working on this car when it came to the staging lines. Bob, can you give us a little info on that?
No, they seem to be pretty well prepared. I talked to Al Hoffman, and he's always extremely confident here. Remember, I was the only guy to go out on the limb yesterday and like their chances to shoot out. Hey, maybe he can beat himself and me here today.
Well, we said it before, and there is nothing Al Hoffman would rather do if he can't win the championship this year than to end Force's shot at the big money here today. Let's see if he can do it. He deep staged on Force, and he almost takes it all the way over, and Force is a U.S. Nationals champion and a winner of the bonus. Boy, Hoffman went after him. He was quicker out of the box, but the car just too much.
That was a little off pace, 5:13 for John Force, but it doesn't matter. It was good enough to win the U.S. Nationals. What an exciting run this is. Let's take another look at it. Of course, Hoffman having those problems in the round before. They had to thrash to put the car back together, and there you see a problem Hoffman's had this year. The car goes absolutely airborne, and he has to lift. John Force cruises to the win here.
He stayed in it as absolutely long as he could. Force a 5:13, 301 miles an hour. There's the entire crew, Austin Coyle and the gang. And Steve, there is going to be one big check with John Force's name on it.
And there's going to be one big party. You can't accomplish any more in one weekend than you have.
I'm drinking me some Budweiser tonight for NHRA and Winston and Castrol, Pontiac, Mac Tool. That was a drag race. I don't know what happened. Looked like his front end stood up out there about 300 feet.
It did.
That boy went deep. He went after old Forcey. This old fat truck driver, tough. Can I tell you that? Hey, he's a great racer, and I love him. He went in, top lights went out and everything. I said, oh, we're going to do that. We're going to dance again, huh?
Off pace a little bit. It doesn't matter. You won it.
Off pace, what a run this time.
Who cares? I should
I
have brought it
have
up.
to talk to Cole about that. Pays way too much money, this boy. Hey,
Have
we're
fun
proud.
tonight.
We're proud to be here, and for all the things this weekend. Still with the families, we love you. What can I say? You know what I mean? We're all in it with you, and yeah, we're gonna have us a Budweiser right now.
John loves just about everybody. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back to wrap up our 3-hour marathon coverage of the NHRA U.S. Nationals. Hang in there with us.
TNN's exclusive live coverage of the U.S. Nationals has been brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. And by Valvoline DuraBlend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. Commercial transportation for this broadcast has been brought to you by Ryder, the official transportation company for Opryland. Well, there is a U.S. Nationals champion right there, Corey Mack. Well, folks, what do you say? What an emotional roller coaster ride we have had here this weekend. Blaine Johnson, Elmer Trett, families, our hearts are with you. For Bob Fry and Steve Evans, my good buddy Casey Spurlock, so long from the U.S. Nationals. The U.S. Nationals has been a production of Diamond B Sports and the Nashville Network, leaders in live motorsports television.